Good afternoon to this webinar arranged by FACT Exhibitions, who is the leading exhibition and conference organizing company in Pakistan. It specializes in B2B trade shows and has a portfolio of over 25 industrial sectors. It is UFI approved. And today's exhibition is a part of 3P Pakistan's exhibition webinar. Today's webinar, is part of 3P Pakistan's exhibition, which FACT used to previously hold every year. It had catered to 300 exhibitors, 25 countries with more than 20,000 trade visitors every year. That's a lot. 3P Pakistan's second webinar is today's event, and we have with us the speaker for today's event is Andrea. She's the Regional Sales Director for Kronat GmbH of company KG. She will share her expert opinion and experiences to educate us on our today's topic. As you know, the plastic printing and packaging industry, the FMCG and the pharmaceuticals are going to be extremely interested in today's seminar. I hope you have joined in, and we look forward to having you giving us your comments in the question and answer session that will follow for 20 minutes after her presentation. Thank you very much. Andrea, I hand over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Danish, for the very kind introduction, and welcome to everybody. I'm sending you very nice regards from Hamburg in Germany, and I hope I can inform you the next 25 minutes about ideas, news, trends in the packaging business. So I'm sharing my screen with you. I hope you see it. So the title which I choose was Newest Developments in Coating and Lamination for Specialty Films and Flexible Packaging, because this is really one trend where we as Kronat are seeing a lot of challenges and opportunities right now. So I want to give you a very brief introduction into our companies. Then I will follow all the trends which we see in packaging. I will show you some ideas for barrier film applications, some machinery design ideas, and at the end I will give you a very short summary. So you see here our company view from the roof side. We are located in Hamburg in the city center, so really in the living area or in the most active area of Hamburg and the north of Germany. Kronat itself, we are belonging to a holding group of companies. So we have Kronat, which is the most important part because we have the highest number of employees. And we are founded in '93, and with that, we are one of the oldest machinery supplier in the world. So we have a very long tradition, very interesting to follow all these historical activities from the beginning until today through all the critical times of Germany. We founded in 1995 our own drying company. So whenever you get a company line from Kronat, the equipment for drying is coming from Drytec. 2 years ago, we bought the company Coatima, very efficient company for small lab equipment, for very functional equipment, and also sheet-to-sheet coating equipment. And we have our own gearbox company, which is doing parts and equipment for us. So what are we doing? So we are producing complete coating lines, as you see at the left-hand side. We are doing also single equipment. So if you have an existing line and you want to retrofit the machine with some more sophisticated equipment, then we can help you as well. We have all the drying equipment, which you see here at the right side, and we are also doing all the winding equipment. So overall, what Kronat is doing in the coating business, we realize here in Hamburg. Some ideas what Coatima is doing, we have a lot of different equipment, and as you see, size and functionality can be highly adapted to the end product. So from small sheet to sheet coating over small lab lines, 10 millimeter up to 500 millimeter width. So whenever you go into test equipment, they are the best partner for you. Yeah, in which areas we are handling our machines. So you see here at least 3 product areas. We are doing a lot in flexible packaging. So whenever you have a flexible packed product in your hand, it could be a product from our machines, from any kind of materials. In the middle, you see technical products. Even here, we have a high dominance at the market, from flexible films to protect some materials, glass protection film. Here you see in the left-hand picture some ideas about test equipment, but also about reflective material, very versatile. And last but not least, we are doing a lot of equipment for clean technologies. We are certified supplier for the aerospace industry, so Airbus, Boeing. Whenever you are sitting in a new carbon fiber airplane, it's at least a little bit realized with our equipment. We are present in printed electronic and also in organic photovoltaic. So you see the range of products which you can do by coating and laminating is very wide, and this makes our business very interesting, honestly. So what are the trends in packaging? I guess you all know that we have huge problems worldwide with waste material. There are always pictures of views of the ocean which is polluted with plastic. And at the other side, you see some ideas of numbers. For instance, this at the left side, it's quite interesting when you see how many plastic bags are used and what is the volume of them. And then only 12 minutes such a plastic bag is in use. You can imagine it would be good to have recycling concepts to keep wet bags out of the environment, out of the wasting in somewhere which is not recyclable. And you see here also a lot of trends. So we all know that Unilever announced until 2025 recycling of all packaging products. We have in Europe the new European Plastic Strategy Alliance, and we have also companies like Dow Chemicals, which are doing also a lot in finding solutions how to recycle packaging products. What else do we have? I guess you all know the so-called Greta effect. So the whole young generation is now fighting for environmental protection. We have increasing awareness in social media related to recycling, to sustainability, but we have also a lot of countries which started already to legislation and confession out of the packaging industry, but also in the companies. For instance, in Germany, the target is to recycle all packed products until 2030 to nearly 100%. And due to that, you can imagine everybody needs to follow. Each company which is in the packaging business needs to supply ideas how to follow that activities. What are trends which we see right now? One trend is in the label market, easy to peel adhesive development to improve the recyclability of products where you need to peel off a paper from a plastic container. We see a lot of new solutions also in the Internet of Things that products can communicate with each other. You can get information from your product, but also you can get information about the material which is used in order to pack the product. And we see a lot of smart packaging solutions which are coming more and more in supermarkets, but also for many other applications. Wrong direction. So But at the end, we need packaging materials. If you look into India, for instance, there is the definition to avoid wasting of food, to reduce always food which is not used, and for that you need a packaging material. You need to protect the food, you need to protect the food against gases, against oxygen, water, and also against the influences which are coming from the environment, UV light for instance, but also against harmful pollution for the human body like plasticizer, printing colors, mineral oils, and so on. So without packaging, it's not possible. We need that material. And due to that, we need to find solutions. How can we improve all the material which are used for packaging in order to avoid that this material is going into the environment? So here are some first ideas. For sure, we can look into a thickness reduction of materials which are used. There's a huge trend in the simplification of laminated structures. Monopolymer structures are more and more used. So you see a lot in pouch tails where a PE material is laminated with a PE material by usage of barrier adhesives. We see a huge trend in aluminium replacement with new barrier solutions like aluminium oxide or silicon oxide. We see also process improvement for PVDC applications to make also machines more sustainable and to look how to improve the processes. This is also a quite interesting trend, which you see here. There are ideas to pack a medical product with a certain kind of packaging which is able to communicate with you, with the human, but also with the environment at the end. There are already packaging materials available, which you see, for instance, at the left-hand picture, which communicate with you in a case if you're eating your pill, your smartphone shows you smiling, and if you don't eat your pill, your smartphone reminds you to eat the pill. And this is very important for medicals, which are really necessary to save your life, blood sugar products, or even blood pressure reducing medicaments. All these are very important. But there are also more and more packaging materials available which can communicate with you, which can give information to you. And all this for sure is a quite interesting trend in the packaging business. So what do we see in the barrier film business? So there are already chemicals available which can improve the protection of an aluminium coated material. Barrier adhesive we see more and more, and also there are already full oxygen barrier coating available on the market. So at least products are coming from developing chemical supplier to fulfill all the requests which are necessary. What did we as Krönert? We also look into how to improve processes. One project which we realized was to improve PVC coating, which is still a very often used barrier for medical products, but also for food. And here you see some ideas which we did together with Solvay. The idea was to improve the evaporation rate of PVC coated material, and we started with a volume of 6 kilogram per square meter an hour, and after a certain kind of development we reached 10.2, which means we could increase the drying performance for PVC coating nearly with a double in value. In addition, we also looked how we can improve the process itself. Whoever is familiar with PVC coating knows that the basic value in the past for coating PVC with one layer was 15 grams per square meter, which means if you need to coat 90 grams per square meter due to a medical pharmaceutical product, you will need to run through the machine multiple times. And to improve that, we did also a lot of development with Solvay. And today we reached already 45 gram per square meter, which means with the optimization of the process, with a much more better drying performance, with a much more better understanding of the process, we really were able to really triple the coating weight with one layer, and this results in a much more better handling in a coating machine. Summarizing this development, you see that we can realize with that more efficient coating line, we can have a much more better coating weight with one layer, and due to that, we can realize much more better energy efficient machines. We can optimize the curing process and also the heat recovery for efficient energy usage. All this is possible as soon as you go much deeper in the understanding of a process. It's not only just supplying a sheet of metal. We really want to support our partners, our customer, in understanding what the machine is doing. Huge trend, I already mentioned that, aluminium oxide. Aluminium oxide for sure is not realized with our machines. Here are companies like Bühler or Applied Materials or others which are doing that aluminium oxide layer in a vacuum way. But the next step is necessary to protect that sensitive ceramic layer with an additional coating. It's also necessary to apply an additional barrier in order to get a much better performance. And also for digital printing processes, it's necessary to protect that ceramic layer in addition. Here you have some ideas what is already possible on the market. So you see, for instance, OPP has a very high rate for letting moisture and oxygen in. And with only Alox coating, you can already reduce the volume to only 50 cubic meter per square meter a day. And with an additional wet coated barrier, which is, for instance, supplied from Dow Chemical, you can go to a much more deeper value. So the combination between aluminium oxide and an additional coating, this is what we are looking when we speak about aluminium oxide business. Here you have some other values. Whoever wants to have a presentation, you can send me a short email and then I can give it to you. So what are now machinery solutions to do such processes? At least we as Grönert, we are looking into inline coating processes, which means installing the coating process directly in the stretching line, and we are in offline coating processes. And depending on the solutions, different ideas for products realistic. So whenever we go to inline coating, we are in between the LD and CD process in an extrusion line. So you can see here the position of the inline coating, which is realized from our side. Here we are working very close together with Brückner, but also with many other companies. Inline coating means you can adapt already a certain kind of functionality to the material. The main elements are gravure roller and kiss coating mode, as you see here, and you can get that in single or double side coating application. When we go into offline, for sure, we need to handle the complete process. So we need an unwinder, which is on this position behind that enclosure. We have the coating system, depending on the process. It can be a roller, slot die, comma bars, knife coating, whatever. You see here on top the dryer, which is necessary to cure, to dry, to cross-link the coating layer. At the end, usually you need to cool down to go to a temperature which is reasonable before you rewind the finished product. This is at least the standard solution for a coating line. When we go into Alox, thin film barrier applications, we need to realize with such a coating line the conservation of the barrier layer. the mechanical stabilization of the barrier layer. We need to improve the printability, and we need to allow also with an additional layer the sealing capability of this highly sophisticated barrier. So this is what is realized with a wet coating process. What is necessary in such an aluminium oxide coating line? The material Alox is the ceramic layer, and I guess you can imagine ceramic is very sensitive. So we need to look into a very sensitive handling of the material. It's necessary to have a very perfect coating layer, invisible usually, and very smooth to realize, for instance, inkjet printing processes. We need to go with a high bending angle around rollers to avoid that the Alox layers start to crack or start to get certain kind of problems. We really look to avoid contact to guiding rollers, and as soon as the guiding roller is coming in contact with the Alox, which you can't avoid, this roller should be driven. It's also very important to have a very perfect alignment of the material in the machine to avoid stress of the ceramic layer. We are looking into a very proper tension control in the machine, and this is very important to really keep the very good functionality of the Alox layer in a proper way. So coating processes, usually we are looking into gravure methods. This can be realized in a direct contact or in a kiss coating mode. Usually are engraved coated rollers used with a ceramic blade to define the coating layer. We are working with pressurized doctor chamber systems and with a sleeve design for the opposite roller, which you see here as this black roller, to act very flexible to the change of the working with. So to give a very high flexibility and a very fast reaction if there's any problem. Here you see a coating line which we supplied to Lohmann. Lohmann is producing adhesive tapes for lamination, but also for just simple applications. This is also an idea to have such a machine complete running in clean room atmosphere to adapt coating layers with a very high precision without any pollution in the process to get at the end very perfect materials. So this gives you an impression that the design of the coating line is always adapted to the product which has to have to be produced with the machine. Here you see a lamination line. I mentioned already that it's also a huge trend to laminate a PE film with a PE film with a certain kind of barrier adhesive in between. Dow is doing a lot of development, the company BASF, but also Henkel. And for that, you need at least a machine which is able to apply the adhesive film, which you see here with an engraved roller system. We have the drying equipment, and at the end, the second film is laminated on top of this sticky surface. And then you have very perfect laminated pure polyethylene material available. I mentioned already that it's also an interesting trend, NFC label which are able to transfer information, which are able to transfer information about the product itself, about the handling of the product, about certain kind of storage processes for a product, quite interesting, for instance, for medical products, where you need to avoid that the temperature is getting too high in order to avoid that the product is destroyed. Here you see such a very typical machine for printing of such NFC label. This machine was supplied to Funfilm and is now handled from the company Invisible, a very, very innovative company for such materials. As soon as you go to printing, for sure, you need a different kind of process to realize that. We are present in the gravure printing process. Here at the right-hand side, you see the image of the gravure roller, and you see the result which is coming out of the printing process with that gravure roller. So with that, you can, for instance, print circuits, you can print an RFID antenna and all these functional materials. We are also looking into flexo printing processes. In this case, you have a gravure roller with a very fine structure. You have in the middle the flexo printing sleeve, which you see here, for instance, with the design of an RFID antenna. And above, you see the product which is coming out of such a process. Also, this is a suitable solution. The advantage of flexo printing is that the change of the sleeve is very easy to realize in a very short time frame. We are also looking into screen printing solutions. So whenever the thickness of the printing layer needs to go in a wider range, in that case, we need the screen printing process, but the accuracy and the alignment of the product and the right pattern of the product, all this for sure is also possible with such a screen printing solution. So I'm now nearly at the end of my presentation. I want to give you a very short summary. At least whenever you want to see such processes and you want to learn or get a first impression how such a process can be realized, you can come to us. We have one center for coating at Coatima in Dormagen. It's near Cologne. And we have here in Hamburg at Krönert a machine running with 1,600 meters per minute, the fastest test line in the world, which we can offer you for tests and where you can come and see how your product can be realized. So summarizing new product solutions in the packaging market, we try to supply solutions to avoid wasting of resources, functional label applications to avoid wasting of food and resources, flexible and sustainable machinery concepts, and we are looking really how to make our machines process and energy efficient in order to give you also the perfect equipment. So I'm at the end, and I hope I was a little bit possible to show you some ideas, trends, what is going on the market. And here you see at the left-hand side the nice Unilever headquarters here in Hamburg, where all the activities of Unilever in Europe are coming out. So thank you for your attention, and I would be able for questions when you have some of them. Thank you very much.
Andrea, thank you very much. We have some questions in the chat box. If you look at it, the question and answer box.
Yes.
One of the questions I can see just now is, what are the top trends you're seeing in the flexible packaging industry, and why, and what drives these trends?
Yeah, for sure. The main trends which we see right now is to go to monomer solutions, which means 100% of only one material. And this is due to the trend of recycling. So sustainable solutions, this is one trend. And interesting wise, we see a second trend in the paper industry, that also in the paper industry is getting more and more products with a barrier coating on it, and instead of a PE extrusion process, in order to make such products recyclable as well. So a huge product area where we are right now in are so-called paper cup stocks, which means that paper caps which you are getting with coffee to go. Also here the idea is to recycle that materials, and for that you need product solutions which are able to be recyclable.
Okay, another question is, what challenges are there in the flexible packaging market you're encountering just now, and what are you doing to address them?
Yeah, the main issue for sure is whenever you come with a new solution to the market, it should be not more expensive than the already existing solutions. And so we are really looking into products which are on one side fulfilling all the requirements which are coming from Unilever, Nestle, and so on, but at the other side also into looking how to make such products really reasonable in price, and also the product quality should be the same. And this is at least all the development which is running from polymer film supplier, from chemical supplier, and we are, at least as a machinery supplier, in the middle. We need to act with all these materials.
Great. The next question is a very interesting one in the sense that it mirrors what I already know as part of our German-Pakistan chamber. One of the reasons that Pakistan is growing so large, in fact, there's a HSBC report which says that Pakistan will be among the top 30 economies within the next 10 to 20 years. Now, you wonder that we've got so many financial problems. How in the world will we have a GDP to bring us into the top 30 economies by GDP? And the answer was very simple. It says that the rate of population growth in Pakistan is at such a rate that within the next 20, 30 years, even if your per capita income is minuscule, your combined GDP will be so big that will bring you into 20, 30 what's called economies. In other words, we have a potential consumer market in the making, a consumer market factory in the making. So now, in light of that, the question is, which region do you see the biggest growth for flexible packaging moving forward, and why?
You mean the biggest region from the product side or from the geographical side?
From both angles would be interesting.
Yeah. Geographical side, really, I see it in the Middle East and also in Pakistan, in India, where right now the trend in packing of food is not that much than in Europe. So there are numbers, for instance, in Europe, 95% of all the food in Europe is packed. And in India or in Pakistan, you are getting numbers in between 5 to 15%. So you see the volume is very low. But you need to avoid wasting of food, because this is quite important. There are numbers, for instance, in India, each year the same volume what whole Great Britain is using in food is wasted in India. And this is really a very sad solution. So developing of packaging is quite important, but as soon as you start, you should start already with solutions which are reasonable, which are sustainable, which are recyclable. Please don't make the same failures and mistakes which we did in Europe with having 100% or 1 million of different kind materials which you can't recycle at the end. So the idea is really to go already the right way whenever you use a new packed material. I don't know how the solution or the regulation is in Pakistan, but in India, whenever a new product is coming to the market, you need to show that it's recyclable. And this is a very important trend, which I guess the whole world should follow in order to avoid pollution of oceans and rivers and whatever.
Correct. The next question is that what are some key tips to ensure proper adhesion and to eliminate any challenges during the film lamination process?
For sure, you need to watch that you use the right materials, the right adhesive, the right glue. And the second one is also the process itself. So whenever you do a lamination and you want to have a proper lamination, you need to take care that you have the right lamination angle in order to avoid that you have air bubbles in between your two layers. And in addition, you need to watch very carefully that the tension control of both substrates is perfect. Otherwise, you will have a certain kind of friction between your two materials. You will get a delamination, and the result is not that perfect. So the process is important to watch, but also the materials which are used.
Oh boy, there's a whole lot of questions. I don't know if we'll have the time to do them all.
I have no limitation in time.
Okay. All right. So what needs to be considered when laminating digitally printed films?
This I didn't
What
catch.
needs to be considered when you're laminating digitally printed films? So in other words,
Usually when you laminate, the printing is inside. But also here, if you laminate that, you need to guarantee the quality of your product. So air bubbles would for sure destroy the optical view of your material. So you need to do the lamination in a very perfect way. And usually in such product ranges, you try to apply the adhesive layer invisible. And this you can quite good realize with curtain coating processes where you apply the adhesive layer in a very perfect way.
In Pakistan, we have a very strong pharma industry. And from Cronut's point of view, what is the latest offering you can give to the pharma industry in this region?
Yeah, pharmaceutical is right now the main application for blister packaging is PVC. It's a certified material which is perfect in the quality which is requested. So as soon as you are in the PVC business, you can look how to improve your process in order to save energy, in order to be more efficient and to act much better. But we see also trends in the pharmaceutical industry to go away from PVC and to go to alternative barrier solutions. And this for sure would be also of interest for the Pakistan medical
Why are they
market.
Why are they going to alternate solutions? Can you expound on that, please?
Yeah, PVC is a very critical material. When you go to recycling, PVC is not the material of choice. PVC coated material you can't recycle. It's impossible. So here alternative. Please.
It cannot be biodegraded. So it adds to pollution in landfills.
PVC is a material which is containing chlorine, and this is also critical for your machine. So the complete machine needs to be made of stainless steel in order to avoid any corrosion. And also from the environmental side, it's not a good material.
There are two more questions. Both these questions have got my questions in mind too. One of the questions was that there are many types of laminates used for decorative and touch and feel applications.
Yes.
What type of laminating films are being used now for both decorative and functional applications? But we are in a new era now, an era where COVID has opened our eyes. It's here just now. The world hopefully will find a solution, but this is a wake-up call. A wake-up call to the entire world that we need to think about hygiene. We need to think about how we handle our lives, social distancing, wearing a mask. You know, one of the things was that in Japan, COVID was not so popular, primarily because the Japanese have a culture of wearing masks when outside since years.
Yeah.
So that helps stop the spread of COVID. So, you know, when you're talking about lamination, you're talking about laminating surfaces. Is there something your company should look at probably is to have, you know, because they say, for example, COVID lasts the least on copper. For some reason or the other, it has the least life on copper surfaces. So maybe a surface can be developed where viruses and bacteria cannot thrive. And that can be used in a lamination process. So, you know, is there any such thing in your mind, in your organization, Cronut's mind?
Yeah, we are looking into coating solutions which are antibacterial and antivirus, or from the chemical side. There are also trends in having easy to clean surfaces in order to avoid that pollution can stick on the surface. So there are at least a lot of developments happen to to act more efficient against such materials. If you see now, I don't know if it's really the case in Beijing, where this new problem is coming. The idea was it coming from salmon, which was delivered from anywhere else. If you would cover that material or that products with a material which can avoid the surviving of a virus inside the package, you would have already, or you would solve already such problems which could come from food in any case. So really in looking into material developments which are acting against such critical influences from the environment. And I agree with you, we also had to learn to wear face mask here in Europe. So it's still not that easy, honestly.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah.
You know, you're used to a different way of life, and now you have to change.
Yes,
Less
yes.
contact. It's sad, but it's true. What to do? That's life.
Yeah,
we have to get.
but we see how efficient it is. So
True.
it's the only reaction to avoid that disaster, or to reduce it at least.
And I saw that you had coating materials which would make a piece of glass shatterproof. That was interesting.
Yes.
In your slides.
Yeah.
So you're marketing that machine down here? I mean, I suppose 3M and some companies like that would be your customer for machines like that. Am I right?
Yes, we have also such so-called smart film applications. One idea is to switch a glass from transparent to milky. But the other idea is also when you sit it already in a new Dreamliner from Boeing or from Boeing, where you can switch the windows from a light blue to a very dark blue. This is also a way which we see increasingly in Europe, because you can, in the summertime, you can change the color of the windows of a room from a more dark way, and then you can avoid to use or to reduce the heat in the room. You can limit the use of air conditioning. Also, these are effects products where we are in. So it's very versatile.
We have 42 degrees just now, real feel, and something like that would be a blessing down here.
Yeah. Yes.
What are the
even there are heat reflective materials available with a certain kind of ceramic coating, where you can reduce the heat transfer into the room only by reflecting the light, the sunlight. Also, this is already an idea which could be realized with an easy coating.
What are the international brands you are dealing with globally, if you don't mind sharing that just now?
Our machines are running at all leading companies. So we are present at all film suppliers like Mitsubishi, Solvay. We are highly present in the label market. So there are many companies which are using our machines for labels where we are not allowed to name the customer. But for instance, even in the aerospace industry, all companies which are supplying tapes to Airbus and Boeing are using our equipment. So we have a very nice presence for all this. In the medical pharmaceutical business, our machines are running at Care worldwide, at KPP also worldwide. Also here we are quite good in position with our machines.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Thank you very, very much, Andrea. I ask all those participants who are taking the time out to be with us during this webinar. If they have any questions, please feel to address them to FACT, who can then forward to Andrea those questions, and you can reply to them on an individual basis if you don't mind.
Yes, for sure. Whatever is coming, ideas, even crazy ideas, don't hesitate to contact us. We will be happy, more than happy, to help you to look into your products, into new solutions, into ideas. We are very, very flexible. And it's always worth to come to Hamburg. If you ask people in Hamburg, it's the most nicest city in the world.
Oh, yes, I agree. And I wonder when one can travel again. Just now, you know.
Yeah. This is really a question which we all discuss. You know, Europe is now back to normality. Inside of Europe, we can travel, luckily. But how it is outside of Europe in the near future, we really need to see. So there's a lot of development for medicals. There's a development of a vaccine. Hopefully, we will have it in the next months or even 2 months, and then it will be much more easier to solve all this. So let's pray. I wish you all, please stay safe, keep healthy.
Thank you very much, Andrea.
All the best, and I'm happy for any comment and contact. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very, very much, Andrea. Thank you all for joining this webinar, the second one in a series arranged by FACT Exhibitions. Thank you, Kronak, for participating and giving your time and energy. You spent quite a few days working up to this webinar. Thank you very, very much, Andrea. And we'll tie you up for a couple of more days with some questions, if you don't mind.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.